What's going on, Salt Strong Nation? Today I want to talk to you guys about the two types of straps you can use to transport your kayak. Now, I know you guys are watching this video because you want to know which of these is the best one to buy, which do you not got to buy, and I'll be honest with you, chances are you're going to need both of these at some point in your kayak fishing career, but there is going to be one you're going to use a lot more than the other, but we'll touch on that here in a minute. First, I want to go over how each strap works, where it excels, where it doesn't. We're going to start with the ratchet strap because it's the more commonly used strap out there. And basically how it works is you have another piece of this webbing right here that's going to hook onto this side, and you're going to run the loose end through this cylinder here and tighten it down with the winch. And you can see it's just getting nice and tight on the top of the car. And essentially, this is going to provide the most secure connection to the top of your vehicle or the bed of your truck when you're going down the road, especially if you're going on a really long road trip where it's 70, 80 miles an hour and that wind's getting introduced and it's putting a lot of resistance on your kayak. If you've got this tightened down really good, it's not going to move that kayak around at all. Now, a big problem with that is, as I see a lot of people winch this thing down as hard as they can to make sure that it's nice and tight to the top of their kayak, but what they don't realize they're doing, especially if they use ratchet straps every single time they go out, they're actually molding the kayak to be deformed a little bit by this really tight webbing. If you tighten it down all the time like that, you're going to continuously put a dent in the hull. And in fact, if you've got some really nice kayak material, like say a carbon kayak, this can actually crack it if you've got it tightened down too hard, especially once you start going down the road and introducing more wind resistance. So I find that I really only use these on long road trips, and I see a lot of people make the mistake of using them all the time. If you continuously put that pressure on that kayak every time you transport it, you're going to notice that there's going to be a dent in the hull, and eventually that's going to cause a weak point that your kayak's going to crack on. So I don't use these really anymore unless I'm going on really long road trips. What I've started to do, if I'm going, just to my local boat ramp, or I'm going somewhere that's less than 100 miles, typically I'm going to use these cam straps, because even going down the interstate, you can actually have a good amount of force down on your kayak with these. I don't like to use them for long periods of time on the interstate, which is usually when I'm going to use those ratchet straps. But if I'm just going down the road to my local fishing hole, I'm going to go ahead and use these cam straps. You basically are just going to run this rope. They've got a really cool anti-reverse function that makes sure that your kayak's not going to come loose. And essentially you can see those teeth right there on that. You're going to run it right through the buckle, get it tightened, and the kayak would be right in the middle here. And once you go ahead and tighten it down, you can see it's not going to come loose at all. And even rolling down the road, I didn't have these ratchet straps with me. I went down to Florida, picked up a kayak, and transported it all the way from Tampa up to Wilmington, North Carolina, just using cam straps. I did use several just to make sure that it was secured. Typically, I would recommend that you use 2 or 3. I believe most cam straps are rated for about 100 pounds of force. So your kayaks, just to make sure that they are safe, and when you introduce extra wind resistance, I would use multiple of these just to make sure that you've got it secured to your car correctly. But the good thing about these is they're really quick to put on, much faster than the ratchet straps, and you're going to make sure that you're not over tightening it and cracking your kayak. If you've got a really nice kayak, the last thing you want to do is let this metal frame of this ratchet strap bounce against it, or have this tightened down too hard and really crack your kayak. These cam straps, they sit flush, especially the buckle will sit flush against the mold of your kayak, and it's also going to make sure with this webbing and the way that it gets tightened down just by hand that it's not going to push down and deform the hull at all. So as I mentioned earlier, there would be one that you're going to be using a lot more than the other, and it's pretty clear that it's the cam strap here. The ratchet strap does have its use on those really long road trips, but again, if I'm going to my local fishing hole, going a couple miles down the road, I'm going to trust this cam strap to get it done. So I hope you guys learned a lot from this video, and you're not going to be abusing your kayak with those ratchet straps anymore. If you would like to learn more about what you can do with your kayak once you get to your destination in terms of catching more fish and being a better angler, I highly recommend that you join us in the Salt Strong Insider community, where we have tons of other awesome tutorials like this and tons of fishing tips, tons of courses, also a huge discount for insiders on top of the line industry tackle, up to 20% on rods, reels, lures, and things like that. So what are you guys waiting for? I hope to see you in the insider community, and I'll see you on the next video.
There's something about the water that'll give you peace, all by yourself or with your family. Live salt strong and wear the line today.